All right, folks, here we are. Marvel Snap tier list on how accurately do the card's abilities represent the character that they portray, right? So, if this wasn't a Marvel card game, the abilities on the cards wouldn't matter because they'd all be original cards for the developer. But, yeah, so we are going to, because they're using the Marvel IP, they need to be representative of the characters. So yeah. All right, so I'm doing this bit for a YouTube video as well, so there's not going to be any alerts or anything like that while I just do this bit. So yeah, so take it from the top. So we're going to do a tier list on how accurately Marvel Snap's cards represent the characters they portray. Because with the fact that they're utilizing the Marvel IP, that comes with a certain expectation that the cards are going to be like you're playing the character, right? So the abilities need to be representative of those characters. So we're going to rank them. As you can see here, we've got spot on. So like if the ability is perfectly representative of the character, then it gets spot on. If they get close, if it's not quite there, if there's something amiss or whatever, but they mostly got there, that's what this section's for. We got the sort of, kind of, not really, for cards that are like, yeah, maybe it could be, if, you know, or maybe not. Not much to work with. This is mostly for characters that don't have abilities, like normal human characters. But there's still stuff they could do to work with that. And then there's not even remotely close, which means they just missed it by a mile. So, all right. And I might actually need to bring Snap up over here, because I'm not going to remember all of the card's abilities off the top of my head. So we are just going to go here. So we start off with Abomination. Now, Abomination on his own has no abilities, right? He's just a big bruiser, right? But if you high evo him, then he gets cheaper for each power the opponent has that's afflicted with negative power. That doesn't really have anything to do with Abomination. He's just a dude that got transformed into a creature by gamma radiation. So I'm kind of going to go... I guess I'm kind of going to go sort of, kind of, not really. Because that, like, the fact that he's a 9 power, so he's a strong, big, strong guy, that kind of fits. But yeah, like, I don't know what else you could really do with Abomination. The high evo thing is kind of cool though, which is why I've put it in the sort of, kind of, not really category. All right. So then we've got Absorbing Man, who is, if the last card you played has an on reveal ability, he copies it. And then he does it, which is not quite how his abilities work. He doesn't absorb powers. He absorbs materials. So, like, if he touches brick, he turns into brick. You know, if he touches water, he turns into water. You know, if he touches adamantium, he turns into adamantium. Right? So, they got the absorbing part right, but not what he absorbs. So, I think Absorbing Man goes in close. I think that'd be the best spot for him, I think. We've got Adam Warlock. After each turn, draw a card if you're winning here. That's nothing to do with Adam Warlock at all. He commands the Soul Stone. He's the nemesis of Thanos. Yeah, like, It's absolutely nothing to do with him. And he's a 2-0. He's one of the strongest beings in the Marvel Universe. And they gave him 0 power. Like, this is just bad. Like, if you're an Adam Warlock fan, I'm sorry, but he's terrible in Snap. He's not good at all. And then we get Arrow. Also, these cards aren't the most up-to-date in terms of the stats as well. This is just what was on tiermaker.com. So just like some of these numbers might be wrong. Like Arrow's a 5'9" now. She's not a 5'7" anymore. But we're more concerned on her ability, which is she moves the last enemy card played to her location. Which, for someone who can control the winds, I'd say that's spot on. I'd give her a spot on. She uses, like, yeah, she controls winds. Winds can move people around. Yeah, that's good. All right, Agatha. Agatha, who plays your starts in your opening hand and plays the game for you. Yeah, I'd kind of say that's kind of spot on. Agatha's a manipulative witch. She likes to control situations and control events to benefit herself. So I think they got Agatha pretty much spot on. She'll fucking shove you out of the way and do your job for you. So, yeah. All right, Agent 13, add a random card to your hand. So, I kind of wanted to put her in not much to work with because she's just a spy. She's a spy for S.H.I.E.L.D. That's it. What about stealing boosters? Well, yeah, she's self-serving, so yeah, I can see her taking all the boosters for herself. Absolutely. Agent 13. Yeah, there really isn't a lot to work with Agent 13. So this is kind of a, doesn't really matter what the ability on this card was. Yeah, not a whole lot to go with. Yeah, she's a spy for S.H.I.E.L.D. That's it. Coulson's kind of the same, but as director of S.H.I.E.L.D., he can often recruit others to, help S.H.I.E.L.D. on missions and stuff. So him adding a random 4 and 5 cost to the hand kind of fits in a way, I guess, if you squint real hard. So yeah, so I'm going to put Coulson in the sort of kind of not really list. And then we get everyone's favorite Purple Cloud, Eliath, who destroys all unrevealed enemy cards here, which it's Eliath. That's what he does. Eliath destroys anything he comes into contact with. So original Eliath, where he destroyed all cards, no matter if they were revealed or not, I would have put that in spot on. But since he's nerf and he only affects unrevealed cards, he's bumped down to close now. Because Eliath he destroys everything. And this is MCU Eliath as well we're going with here, not comic book Eliath, because comic book Eliath wasn't really that well fleshed out. So we're sticking with MCU Eliath for this one, because it's the more fleshed out and the more well-known version of the character as well. Chavez. As you can see, Chavez has got the old stats. Again, these are just old images on Tier Maker. But new Chavez, where she opens a portal and gives the next card in your deck extra power. Opening the portal thing, spot on, because that's what she does. But giving extra power to others, no, that's not what she does. She punches things very hard. That's what Chavez does. So she opens portals, she punches portals in space-time, and punches things very hard. So yeah, they got close. Yeah, the ability, actually, I'm going to put it down to sort of, kind of, not really. Actually, no. You know what? If we're going straight on her ability, no. The ability has nothing to do with Chavez. The animation's great, but we can't take the animation into account on its own. Right? Alright, Angel. When a card is destroyed or discarded, he flies out of your deck, right? Or out of your hand now. It's Angel. He flies. Right? And that's what he does. He flies. So I'm going to put him in... Yeah, I'm just going to put him in not much to work with. Because there really isn't much to work with Angel. Alright, Angela. Angela, with her... When another card is played here, +2 power. Angela is an Asgardian warrior. She doesn't gain power from others. So that's not even remotely close. Yeah, like, sorry, but no. Alright, Annihilus. On reveal, move all negative cards with negative power to your opponent's side. Again, nothing to do with Annihilus. He is one of the denizens of the negative zone. He's an insectoid alien with a cosmic control rod who once tried to take over the universe with an insect army. He's not shoving cards with negative power, around. Like that ability's got nothing to do with Annihilus. That ability could easily have just been shoved on any other card. I guess you could make like the cosmic control rod drains energy from others, drains energy, negative power. You could maybe at a stretch do some kind of correlation there, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they missed the mark with that one. All right, Ant-Man. Ant-Man's another one. If there are 3 other cards at the location, he gets extra power. That's got nothing to do with Ant-Man. He shrinks. He talks to ants. He shrinks and grows, actually, and talks to ants. That's what he does. So, the ability's got nothing to do with Ant-Man. Absolutely nothing. Apocalypse gets extra power when he gets discarded from your hand. Apocalypse is all about survival of the fittest. He learns from his encounters and evolves, so I'm going to chuck him in the sort of, kind of, not really category. There's a lot they could have done with him. He could have summoned the 4 horsemen. War, famine, death, and pestilence. They could have done something with his shape-shifting powers. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him summon the 4 horsemen. That would have been awesome. That would have been really, really awesome. But yeah, no, I think they just missed the mark with Apocalypse. So he, but it is still somewhat relevant. So he goes in the sort of, kind of, not really category. Ant-Man should have been spawned an ant in the lane and grow 2 power. Yeah. Yep, that would have been cool. All right, Armor. Now, Armor has the ability to generate the psionic exoskeleton around her. And it also grows in strength whenever a member of her family dies. It's kind of morbid, but that's how it works. It's tied to her familiar relations and her ancestry. In Snap, she makes it so that no cards at the location where she's played can be destroyed. However, that's not how the exoskeleton works. She can't extend the exoskeleton to protect others. It only protects her. So she goes in the close category. Because the effect with the exoskeleton going around looks cool, but it should only be affecting her, no one else. Oh, and Schneep has popped in with a raid. How you going, Schneep? Welcome, welcome, welcome. good to see you here. Hang on, let's do a shout out. We'll do a shout out to Schnipp. Thank you so much. Welcome in, folks. We're doing good. We're doing a tier list on how accurately do the cards in Marvel Snap represent the characters. So yeah. So we just did armor. I was just saying that they got really close with armor. They got the exoskeleton right, but the exoskeleton actually only protects her, right? Also, alerts are turned off at the moment while I'm doing this tier list. So the alerts in that, yeah. So save your channel points. I'm probably gonna have to re-record this video, this tier list video. Yeah, no, it's all good, King. I was gonna do this for a video, but I think I'm just gonna have to redo this offline as just a straight up video. Maybe we'll see how it goes. I might be able to like clip this bit out. I'm still getting used to how the editing software works as well. But yeah, all right, Arnim Zola. Yeah, but I don't know editing, dude. I'm not that good at editing. So yeah. No, Jin, I haven't. No. So we got Zola. So Zola, on reveal, destroys one of the other cards at your location and adds to other locations. Zola's a mad Nazi scientist in a robot body. It's really got nothing to do with Zola. Yeah. Like, I mean, I almost was tempted to put him in the not much to work with category, but I mean, you could even go sort of, kind of, not really. But I'm just chucking him in, not even remotely close. I don't think his ability's got anything to do with him. All right, Achuma, Warlord of Atlantis. After each turn, if there's another card there, destroy this if you have another card there. That's got nothing to do with Achuma. Nothing at all. He cuts off one head and two appear. Yeah, but that's no. Yeah, that's not no. Yeah, Achuma's ability, nothing to do with Achuma. Like, nothing at all. Baron Mordo's another one. On reveal, your opponent draws a card and it changes its cost to 6. That's got nothing to do with Baron Mordo. He's an evil sorcerer. He's not about, you know, drawing cards and that. So, yeah, like his ability's got absolutely nothing to do with him. We got Bast. On reveal, set the power of all cards in your hand to 3. Bast is the Panther God. Bast doesn't go around giving 3 power to everybody. She's the Panther God. Like, yeah. So yeah, like that's got nothing to do with her. Then we got Beast. Return your other cards here to your hand. They cost 1 less. Nothing to do with Beast. Beast is he's a blue-furred mutant that's extremely agile, and he's also a scientific genius. And his ability's got nothing to do with any of those things. So, except maybe the athletic thing, like throwing people, like juggling people around athletically, maybe. Yeah, no, that's it. Beta Ray Bill creates a Stormbreaker, puts it into your deck. When you draw it, he gets extra power. Yeah, that's he's a dude with a hammer. What I would have liked to have seen them do is the card be his non-transformed form. Spawn the hammer. When you play the hammer, he transforms into Bill. Right, into Beta Ray Bill, I mean. So he starts as Bill, you play the hammer, it transforms the card into Beta Ray Bill. That would be cool. But I'll give him that. Like, that's just a, you know, a personal change I'd like to see. So, yeah. All right. Bishop. Bishop gains +1 energy every time you play another card. Bishop is a mutant who can absorb and redirect energy. He can, he absorbs energy and then redirects it as energy blasts. That's what he does. But he doesn't get that energy from teammates running in to help him out. He gets that energy from being shot with energy. So I get what they were going for with that, but he goes in sort of kind of not really. Because yeah, he charges up with energy. But yeah, the way he gets that energy is not accurately represented in Snap. All right, Black Bolt. On reveal, discard the highest cost? Lowest cost card from your opponent's hand. Lowest cost. That's got nothing to do with Black Bolt. He's the king of the Inhumans. He has a voice whose merest whisper can shatter a mountain. And the most he does is discard a card from your opponent's hand. Like, he should be nuking the location you play him at. Like, turning the location to a ruin. You know, Rhino's ability should be Black Bolt. Yeah. Yeah, the ability that well, no, like it's if he discard the highest, it's not about discarding cards. He should be nuking the location you play him at, which is what Rhino's ability is. So, yeah. Black Cat, when this is in your hand, at the end of the turn, discard it. I get what they were going for with the whole bad luck angle. But it doesn't really work. Like, it's like Felicia Hardy has bad luck powers, right? So like if someone's like aiming a gun at her and about to shoot, her ability would make it that the gun jams, right? Yeah, 5/1, discard your opponent's entire hand. Yep, reverse Modok. Yes, that would be good. Yeah, so Black Cat's got bad luck powers. Her ability should have something to do with your opponent. Like, if they go to play a card, it swaps it for another card in their hand or something like that. So that, you know, they're not getting to play the card they wanted. Instead, it's playing another card in their hand, which might throw out their sequence of plays or something like that. That would be a better representation of Felicia's abilities in the comics, giving your opponent bad luck. Oh, you wanted to play that card? No, you're playing this one instead. You know, something like that. That'd be really cool. Black Knight, wielder of the Ebony Blade. I like what they were going for here with the blade. That when you discard a card from your hand, you create a blade with that card's power. That's not quite how the blade works. Like, in the comics, the Black Knight is the modern day Black Knight, Dane Whitman. He's the longest in a line of knights that have sworn to take on the curse of the Ebony Blade. And the Ebony Blade thirsts for blood. Like, and it can drive the wielder mad, but the Knights of Dane's lineage have had the ability to withstand the curse. So that's why they're fated to wield it. Anyone else that wields the blade would get corrupted by it and go mad and murder people. So I kind of get what they were going with. I'm kind of going to put him in close. Because the whole whatever cards you discard from your hand gets the gives the power to the blade. That's not quite how it works. I don't know how else they could really do it though, if they wanted to stick with that whole discard to get an Ebony Blade card thing. So that's why I'm leaving him in close. Yeah, I reckon that's pretty good. Black Panther doubles his power when you play him. That's really got nothing to do with Black Panther. They could have given that to Abomination, for example, or, you know, something like that. Like that seems more suited to, yeah, like a super strong character, like Abomination or Hulk or something like that. Like it's got really nothing to do with Black Panther. You know, King of Wakanda, you know, Defender of Vibranium. Something to do with Vibranium, maybe. Like, maybe even Killmonger's ability should have gone to Black Panther. Although there was someone else I was thinking of for Killmonger's ability. Yeah, something like that. He could have been, if he gets destroyed, he absorbs it. Something like that. That would have, yeah. The Vibranium in his suit would have absorbed it. The Vibranium armor powering up aspect, yeah, but it doesn't. That's the Vibranium can absorb impacts like that, but it doesn't redirect it as super strength though. Like, yeah, so I think they missed the mark with that. Alright, Black Swan on reveal. Next turn, your 1-cost cards cost 0. That's got nothing to do with Black Swan. She's the last survivor of her universe, which was destroyed when her universe was colliding with our universe. And our universe was the one that survived due to the machinations of the Illuminati, like Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Professor X, etc., etc. She ended up joining up with Thanos. She's got super strength. Yeah. So her ability to reduce the cost of 1-cost cards, nothing to do with Black Swan at all. Not even remotely close. Hence the name of the category. Alright, Black Widow. Adds a Widow Bite to your opponent's hand. That's nothing to do with Natasha. That's not a good thing for Black Widow. She's the ultimate super spy, and currently in the comics, she's the possessor of a symbiote. Which symbiote was it? I can't remember which symbiote it was, but yeah, currently Black Widow in the comics is a Venom. So yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be temporary, but they could have done a lot more with Natasha being the super spy that she is. And adding the like, she shoots tranquilizing darts at people. She doesn't give them negative power. So like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I can see this section being really big, actually. But yeah. Alright, Blade. Discards the rightmost card in your hand. Nothing to do with Blade. He's a half vampire slayer. Yeah. Nothing to do with discarding cards. Yeah, no, like nothing to do with him at all. So it's tough though, because like they could have she put herself there, yeah. They could have done something with vampires. You know, something to do with like they could have had a location that spawned vampires, like they could have added like the Vampire Nation as a location and it spawns vampires at your other locations. And then like Blade could come in and kill him or something. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, Blob. On reveal, merge other cards in your deck into him. And then he gains their power. That's got nothing to do with the Blob. He is a mutant who has super durable skin, so that he can like absorb the impact of like bullets, cannonballs, stuff like that, and just shrug them off. Right? Oh, yes. Okay. You are correct, Machete. The can't be moved part is spot on, because he can control gravity around him, so that if he decides like that if he doesn't want to be moved, he can't be moved. He's rooted to the spot. That's it. So yeah, so they got that part of him right. I think the merging thing, him eating cards, is a reference to the ultimate Blob, who was a cannibal and ate the Wasp, Ultimate Wasp. But that's only one alternate reality version of the character. That's not the mainstream version that most people know. Or most people that know Blob know he's a mutant that can't be moved and he's got super durable skin. So yeah, so sort of kind of not really. Blue Marvel, ongoing, give your other cards +1 power. No. He's a Superman archetype in Marvel. He's got, the super strength, the flight, but he's also a genius scientist as well. Yeah. So, not really anything to do with Blue Marvel at all. Alright, the Brood spawns 2 broodlings. Yeah, I'll give that a close. The thing is, with the Brood, a Brood Queen will seek a living host to implant an embryo in. And then the embryo gestates inside the living host until it's mature enough that it will eat its way out. And devour the host in the process. Gaining its abilities. If it was a super being, it will gain its abilities. It absorbs the being's energy. So the fact that the Brood Queen, it's kind of like Aliens. It's Xenomorphs but Marvel. Yeah, it's Xenomorphs but Marvel. In a way. So they've got the spawns broodling things right. But what I reckon they should have done was you implant broodlings into one of your opponent's cards, and then they hatch, just destroying the card, but come back over to your side with that card's ability. So it copies it destroys the enemy card, spawns a broodling on your side with the enemy card's ability. That would have been spot on, Brood. Yeah, that would have been spot on. So they got close with Brood. They got close, but not quite. Alright, poor old Bucky Barnes. When Bucky's destroyed, he spawns Winter Soldier. Which I kinda... But he didn't die. You see, that's the thing. He didn't actually die. He was lost at sea, recovered by the Russians, brainwashed into becoming the Winter Soldier. So, I think they got close. But the fact that you have to destroy him to bring the Winter Soldier out, that's where they missed the mark. Because that's where it's like, nah, that's not how it happened. You think he's spot on, but he doesn't die. In the comics, he doesn't die. He gets rescued by the Soviets. Yeah, he lost an arm. He was killed by the Winter Soldier? Not really. That's why I put it in close. Like, we got close. Yeah, for the longest time we thought he was dead, but it's Marvel. You don't see a body, don't assume they're dead. Yeah. So that's why I put him in close. They got close with him. Alright, Cable. He adds is it the top card of your opponent's deck? Draw a card from your opponent's deck. Nothing to do with Cable. He's the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, who was infected with the techno-organic virus by Apocalypse. They had to send him into the future with the Clan Ascani, where he learned how to control the techno-virus, and it became part of him. So the fact that he's just draw a card from your opponent's deck, that's nothing to do with Cable. It's so disappointing for as cool of a character as Cable is to have such a Marvel Snap card. You know what I mean? Alright, Kyera. Kyera was able to channel what was called the Old Power, which let her basically control the Earth on her birth planet of Sakaar. She was basically mystically linked to the energy of the planet. And I'm trying to remember Planet Hulk. I can't remember if she was killed. She was killed by the Red King, I think, who was like the tyrannical ruler of Sakaar in the comics. So basically, her ability where she protects 1 and 6 costs, nothing to do with her. That's got nothing to do with Kyera at all. So, which is a shame. There's a lot they could have done with that. Alright, Captain America. Gives your other cards, ongoing ability, gives your other cards their +1 power. This is a tough one, because Cap is all about inspiration. He inspires his allies. Yeah, I'll put it in close. I'll put it in close because yes, he's one of the most inspiring characters there is in comics. But I would have loved to have seen them do something more with his shield and his shield bouncing, because that's something that is like always has been very unique to Cap. I mean, there's been other characters like US Agent and stuff that do the same thing, but it originated with Cap. It's more like you think of like throwing a shield and the shield bouncing around, you think of Captain America. Like, so I would have liked to have seen them done something more with that. Yeah, but I want it to like actually impact the game, where like you throw your shield and it damages, like it bounces off enemy cards and damages them. Something like that. That would have been super cool. Alright, Captain Marvel. Again, ignore the stats on these cards. These are just old images that Tiermaker had. Like, at the end of the game, move to a location that wins you the game. That's got nothing to do with Captain Marvel. They could have given that to any fucking card. They could have given that to Captain America. He shouts, empowers, damage the other card. Yeah. Cap should have Things ability. Yeah, kind of, actually, yeah. And the shield would, like, bounce off the enemies at that location. Yeah, pretty much, King. Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Yeah. But yeah, Captain Marvel. Nothing really to do. Like, she's basically got the power of a sun. You know, she can fly, super strength, energy blasts, and all she does is fly to a location. It's kind of... no. No. Alright, Carnage destroys all the other cards at his location and gets stronger. Yeah, that's Carnage. That's Carnage. He kills stuff and well, at least in the comics at the moment, he gains their abilities and gets stronger. Like, he targeted characters like Hydro Man and the Spot and things like that and absorbed their powers. So, yep. So, I think they got Carnage, like, pretty good. Alright, Cerebro. Cerebro in-game gives your highest power cards +2 power. That's not what Cerebro does. In the comics, Cerebro is a machine that was created by Professor X to help him locate mutants around the world. So what Cerebro should have been is a search your deck for a card and put it in your hand kind of card. That's what Cerebro should have been. Yeah, or at the very least, Howard's ability. See what the top card of your deck is. But yeah, it should be a way to search your deck for a specific card and get it. Because that's what Cerebro is. It's all about detecting and locating a specific, well, in Cerebro's case, mutant. If they had factions in Marvel Snap, Cerebro could have been great for that. And that's one thing I always wished they were going to add to Snap, was factions. Or Cerebro as a combo card with Professor X. Yes. That Cerebro could enhance Professor X's abilities. Something like that. Yes, Oscar, that's a good idea. That would be great. Alright, Cloak. Cloak, on the next turn, you can move cards to his location, both you and your opponent. That's not quite. Cloak's cloak is a portal to the Dark Dimension. The Dark Force Dimension, sorry. He can use it as a means of teleportation. People can go into his cloak and then he can teleport somewhere and then they can come out of his cloak kind of thing. Yeah, so the whole idea of moving to the cloak is kind of lore accurate, but sort of kind of not really. You know. Yeah, doesn't really work. All right. The Collector. Whenever a card is added to your hand, +2 power. All about collecting cards. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the Collector doesn't get stronger from his collection. He's one of the Elders of the Universe. He's a supremely powerful being in his own right. Yeah, he's an absolute supremely powerful being in his own right. He doesn't need to gain power from objects in his collection. He just likes to collect rare things. That's his thing, hence his name. So the collecting aspect, I get, adding cards to your hand, collecting them. I get that. That's kind of cool, flavor-wise. But yeah, I honestly don't know what else they could really do with him. So that's why I kind of put him in the close area. Did the Collector die in Marvel? No, he's one of the Elders of the Universe. No, he's not dead. He's one of a group called the Elders of the Universe. There's the Collector, the Grandmaster, the Gardener, the Contemplator, the Runner, a lot of characters like that, and they're all themed around different things. So yeah, Collector, not quite sure what they could do. All right, Colleen Wing. Discards the lowest card power from your hand. Nothing to do with Colleen. She's a ninja. In the MCU, she was trained by the hand. In the comics, she was the partner of Misty Knight in The Daughters of the Dragon. Once had a fling with Cyclops. Former lover of Iron Fist as well. So, yeah, but her abilities got absolutely nothing to do with discarding cards. Colossus can't be destroyed, moved, or have its power reduced. Well, that's kind of not quite how Colossus works. Can't be destroyed. Well, yeah, he can. Can't be moved. Yeah, he can. Can't have his power reduced. Yeah, he can. In the comics. Yeah. So, No. I'm sorry, that's a fail on all 3 counts. Colossus is one of my favorite characters. I've always loved Pyotr Rasputin as a character. Like I said, I grew up reading Uncanny X-Men as a kid. I always loved Peter's relationship with Kitty. I always thought that was so adorable. Yeah, so, but I think they just missed the mark with Colossus' ability. I mean, yes, he can shift, he can change he's a mutant who can change his skin into an organic form of steel. But that doesn't mean he's indestructible, can't be moved, or can't be weakened. He absolutely can. So, and yeah, I mean, he was also briefly the Juggernaut for a time. He became the Juggernaut. He took on the role of Sidorak's avatar on the earthly plane. But yeah, so I mean, as to what they could do with him in Snap, like I said, I'm not real sure. I mean, and the fact that he's only a 2-3, this is a guy that stood toe-to-toe with the Juggernaut. He's fought the Hulk. Like, the fact that he's only a 3 power is terrible. He should at least be like 9. You know? In fact, I would have said have him take Abomination's spot. You know, with have him as a no abilities, just just a 5-9. You know. All right, Corvus Glaive. He's one of the servants of Thanos. He is the brother of Cull Obsidian. He is the husband of Proxima Midnight. And he is functionally immortal so long as his glaive remains intact. If his glaive is ever broken, then he can be killed. But otherwise, he's functionally immortal. So the fact that he just discards 2 cards from your hand, I'm sorry, that's a miss. That's a miss. We're gonna have to shrink this. We're gonna have to shrink this down a bit. This bottom row is getting pretty big. Yeah, so that's definitely a miss on Corvus's Glaive part. Yep, got absolutely nothing to do with the character. It should have been a card where when you play him, it spawns the glaive at another location, like a 1-cost glaive. And if the glaive gets destroyed, then Corvus gets destroyed. Something like that. Some kind of relationship with the glaive would have been cool. Alright, Cosmo. You know him. You love to hate him. He's the dog with psychic powers, and in Snap, he prevents any on-reveal abilities from playing. So, in a way, they kind of got close with Cosmo. Because, yeah, he's got mental powers. He can shut you down. He can stop you using your powers. So, yeah, I actually kind of want to put him in spot on, really. Yeah, that's what he is. He can use his mental abilities to shut down your powers. So yeah, I'll put him in spot on. I'll give him a good one for that. All right, Crossbones, an assassin for Hydra. Doesn't actually have any powers. He's just really good he's just really good at assassinating things. And in Snap, he's a 4/8 that can only be played at a location where you're winning. Yeah. I'll give him not much to work with Crossbones. I'll give him not much to work with. So, and this row is kind of like, these aren't bad. They're not great because they didn't really have a lot to work with. So they're kind of like, eh. That'll do. You know what I mean? All right. Crystal is an inhuman who can control the elements, basically. Earth, wind, earth, air, fire, and water. She can control them. In Snap, she draws you a card. That's an instant, not even remotely close. This character controls the elements, and they made her draw you a card. How disappointing can you get? In fact, if there was another tier below, not even remotely close, I'd put Crystal in that. Like, missed opportunity tier. Like, big missed opportunity to do something super cool with. And you make her draw you a card? What the fuck? Ignore the stats, Oscar. The stats are old. These is just what was on Tier Maker. They're not representative of what's actually in Snap at the moment. So yeah, disregard the stats. We're just considering abilities, right? Original text for her any better? What was her original text? I know it looks weird, trust me, but it's what we got to work with. Yeah, I can't remember what Crystal's original text was, to be honest. Reshuffle and draw 3? Yeah, that's even worse. That would be in the tier under missed opportunity. That's it. Yeah, you used to have to play her in the middle as well. If you play her at the middle location. She controls the elements. That's like, it's, yeah, anything to do with drawing cards, nothing to do with it, you know. She should have, like, they should have had some cards that could put, like, as well as there's rocks, they could have had some cards that spawned up, like, fires or water obstacles or something like that on the board. And then you play Crystal to friggin' remove those obstacles. So she'd get rid of rocks. No, she should get rid of rocks. Get rid of other obstacles like that. Yeah. Alright. Cull Obsidian. Or, as you know him in comics, Black Dwarf. In the comics, he's called Black Dwarf. He's a big, strong guy with an axe. That's literally what he is. He is the brother of Corvus Glaive. And he had a thing for Proxima Midnight as well. But he ultimately, like, he and Corvus both wooed her. But he ultimately let Corvus win and marry her. And then he had a thing for Black Swan before he ended up being killed by Ronan in the comics. In Snap, he can only be played where you have a 1-cost card. It's got nothing to do with his ability. Got nothing to do with him. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to put him in with not much to work with. Because again, he's a big dude with an axe. That's literally it. All right. Moving on, Cyclops. Now, these ones are tricky because they're no ability cards. But their interaction with High Evolutionary gives them abilities. So, Cyclops on his own would be not even remotely close. Cyclops with High Evo is spot on. Right? But the fact that you need to play have High Evo in the deck to give him those abilities, when Cyclops has had, like, he doesn't get his abilities from High Evo. He's a mutant. So I'm going to put Cyclops in close. His High Evo ability should have been his default ability. Like, I don't understand why they have no cost cards to, no ability cards to begin with. That always seemed weird to me. I know it's for new players. It's to introduce them to the basic stat lines for each different like level of card, like, you know, 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 cost, etc. This is the base stat line kind of thing. I get that, but I don't know. I don't think, you know, they should have wasted a character like Cyclops on that. And then to have to be playing Evo to give him those abilities, it's like I said, I like Cyclops. Like, I'm a massive X-Men fan. Cyclops has always been awesome. I love the fact that he has an innate sense of spatial geometry and he can control the force and the duration and the width of his I-beams. So he can literally like ricochet shots off things to hit a specific target or whatever because of his innate sense of spatial geometry. I love the fact that his eyes are actually portals to a dimension of energy. So when he opens his eyes, he's actually unleashing the energy from this other dimension. Cyclops is a super fucking cool character. And in Snap, he kind of sucks unless you're playing Evolutionary, which makes no sense in the lore of the character. So I'm generously putting him in close. Like, part of me wants to put him in sort of, kind of, not really. But yeah, you know, we'll put him in close. All right, Dagger. She gains power when she moves to a location for each other card that's out there on the enemy side. That's nothing to do with Dagger. She's able to summon up shards of light that she can throw at her enemies and stuns them if they're evil. So yeah, that's got nothing to do with moving to a location and gaining energy for enemies that are there. Like, nothing to do with it whatsoever. Yeah, but I know she does that in her animation, but we can't take the animation on its, like, we can't just look at the animation and go, yep, that's spot on. It's got to be, we have to look at the whole picture. So yeah, so Dagger gets not even remotely close. Darken. Adds the Muramasa blade to your hand, and when it's destroyed, it increases his power. I'm gonna go with sorta, kinda, not really for Darken. In the comics, the Muramasa blade was forged by a legendary Japanese swordsmith, Muramasa. It was forged from, I believe it was forged from a meteorite that has the ability to nullify healing factors. And yeah, it's literally like the blade, the Muramasa blade, is the only thing that can permanently kill a being that has a healing factor, like Wolverine, Sabretooth, Darken, X-23, etc. So points for them for including the Muramasa blade. Absolutely. Yes, Zek. Dagger should have had abilities similar to Spider-Woman's. But yeah, so points for them for including the Muramasa blade. Absolutely. But it's really not anything to do with Darken. So that's kind of why they get sorta, kinda, not really. And Darken is Wolverine's son. So he inherited, like, he's a mutant like his father. He's got a healing factor. He has the claws. He's got 3 claws. He's got 2 claws that come out the top and 1 claw that comes out of his wrist. So he's got those 3 claws there on each hand. But he also has an ability with pheromones that lets him affect, you know, the pleasure centers of others. So, yeah, it makes him real easy to you know, pick up a date. But yeah, but in Snap, it's kind of like, yeah, sort of, kind of, not really. All right, Daredevil sees what your opponents play on turn 5. Yeah, I'm putting him in close because that is kind of a cool way to represent his radar sense. But Daredevil's radar sense is always on. Like, he's blind. That's how he sees with his radar sense. So the fact that they limit it to 1 turn kind of doesn't make sense in terms of the character. You know, because it's always on. It's always active. It's like, you know, live service. He's like a live service game. It's you know, he needs to be always online. So yeah, so yeah, that would be a little broken. I get why they did the limitation, because him being able to do it every turn would be way too strong. Yeah, if it was always see what your opponent plays. Yeah, it's way too strong. I mean, look, we'll put it in spot on. All right, I'll give him that. We'll give him that. And the fact that two daredevils counter each other out, that always struck me as kind of funny. I always did like that. All right, Darkhawk gains extra power for every card in your opponent's deck. That's got nothing to do with Darkhawk. Darkhawk is an Earth Kid who found an amulet that let him trade places with a member of an intergalactic cadre of warriors known as the Raptors. So, it's, yeah, his ability in Snap, gaining extra power for every card in your opponent's deck, nothing to do with Darkhawk. Nothing to do with Darkhawk. Yeah. Like, absolutely nothing to do with the character whatsoever. So, I mean, cool they included him, because a lot of people would never have heard of Darkhawk before playing Snap. Same with a lot of characters, really. But they absolutely missed the mark on his abilities. Alright, Dazzler gains extra power for each full location on your side. That's got nothing to do with Dazzler. Dazzler is a mutant who can transform sound into light. So she became a singer and puts on her own light shows, because she takes the music in that like when she sings and her band plays, and uses it to create light shows for her concerts. Yeah. She wants a full crowd for her shows. Yeah, but that's not her job. That's her agent's job, right? All right, yeah. So, where were we? Dazzler. Yeah. She converts light into sound? So, sorry, sound into light. She converts sound into light. So I would have liked to have seen something more along, something to do with that. Would have been really cool. Yes, some big anniversaries today too. Quicksand, James Rhodes' first appearance as War Machine, Vengeance, Talia, some good stuff. All right, Deadpool. When it's destroyed, returns to your hand with double the power. I mean, yeah, Deadpool regenerates. He can't actually be killed because his healing factor is that strong. I mean, he survives, like, being decapitated, for Christ's sake, you know. So the whole regeneration thing is spot on, but it doesn't make him stronger. So, hey, Oscar, no, I didn't. He's spot on, but he doesn't, when he regenerates, he doesn't get stronger, Machete. He's still the same as he always was. So that part of it is not right. Yeah. That's why I put him in close. Alright, Death. Costs one less for every card that gets destroyed. But the problem is she can be destroyed. Like, that's, no. No, I'm sorry, that's got nothing to do with Death. And, also, why is it that if you play Death on Death's location, she dies? It's like, no. That shouldn't be the case. I mean, she's Death. She's fucking immortal. Like, she's immortal. She's Death. Shouldn't be able to be destroyed. So yeah, no, they definitely missed the mark on that one. Alright, Deathlock destroys all other cards at the location. Yeah, I'd give him a spot on. He's the Terminator of Marvel. He's just a cyborg soldier that destroys stuff. No, well, I mean, he started out as kind of an anti-hero, and he's been both over the years. He's been hero and villain as well. There's been a few different Deathlocks too. But yeah, he's a cyborg soldier that blows shit up. That's perfect for him. Yeah. All right, Debris. She is a telekinetic who can create a debris cloud around her. So yeah, I think they got her spot on. Zombie cyborg. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think they got Debris spot on. As annoying as I find her, in terms of her ability in Snap, yeah, they did it spot on. She summons up a debris cloud of small objects and stuff around her. So, yeah. The Destroyer destroys all of your other cards. I'm putting him in close because Destroyer should nuke the entire fucking board. I'm sorry. Well, actually, no. Destroyer should destroy your enemy's cards, not yours. So, yeah. Like, if you use the Destroyer, you're using Destroyer against your opponent. Yeah, it should be board clear for your opponent. That's what Destroyer should be. Yeah. So Destroyer just goes in close. Devil Dino gets stronger for every card in your hand. I'm sorry, that's got nothing to do with Devil Dinosaur. He's a fucking dinosaur. He's just a big stompy dinosaur. He doesn't get stronger from other shit. He also has in modern times he's got the connection with Moon Girl now, where he's psychically linked to Moon Girl. And they often swap personalities. So it's Moon Girl's personality in Devil's body and Devil's personality in Moon Girl's body. I would have liked to have seen more interaction with those two cards specifically, especially since there's a Moon Girl animated series at the moment, which I haven't watched yet, but from all reports, it's actually pretty good. So yeah, so I think they just completely missed the mark with Devil. Dr. Doom summons Doombots. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more to Dr. Doom. You know, he's a magician on the same level as Doctor Strange. You know, he's the ruler of Latveria. But yeah, I would have actually liked to have seen him more like Ultron, where he summons up more than just two Doombots. But I can see what they were going with. And yeah, like, that'll do. That's pretty good. Alright, Dr. Octopus pulls cards out of your opponent's hand to fill the enemy location. That's not Dr. Octopus. That's not Dr. Octopus. I mean, Dr. Octopus is another scientific genius. He invented the harness with the octopus, the tentacles. Also, fun fact, octopuses have 8 tentacles, not 4. So, he's missing 4 tentacles. But yeah, his ability in Snap doesn't really have anything to do with yeah, I get that, Degenerate, but come on. Just give him 8 tentacles, let's go. Yeah, so, again, nothing really to do with, like, his abilities in the comics or the fact that he's a scientific genius. Alright. Doctor Strange, move your highest power card to your location. The dude is Sorcerer Supreme. The man can cast a myriad of spells. And all he does is move your highest power card to his location. I'm sorry, but no. Why doesn't he have insanely underpowered? Yeah, I know. Why doesn't he do something more like Nico? Where each turn it's a different ability. Yeah, each turn it's a different ability. And where's some of his more better known spells, like the Crimson Bands of Sidorak? You know? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some of his other spells, but that's the only one that comes to mind. Where he summons up the Crimson Bands to restrain them. Need a done dirty category? Yeah, that's pretty much this category. I thought it was the Wand of Watum that summons up the Winds of Watum. But yeah, exactly. His ability should be given to Blink, who's been data mined. Because Blink opens portals and, you know, summons people to her. Yeah. So, nothing to do with Doctor Strange. Alright, Domino. Always playable on turn 2. Nah. Domino's got luck powers. She's the opposite. She's the anti-Black Cat, right? Yeah, so Domino is the mutant ability, mutant with the ability to alter probability to give herself or her allies good luck. So that should apply to your card draw to make sure that you draw that fucking Lockjaw on 3, or that you draw that Cerebro on 3. That's what she should do. I need a card like that. Not much to work with her. There's plenty they could do with her. Like I just said, make it so that you draw a card that you need on turn 3, so that you have a 3 cost to play on 3, or a 4 cost to play on 4, or a 5 cost to play on 5. That's what she should do. Maybe that is her ability, but nobody plays her, so no one knows. Nice one, Sam. Good job, dude. That's funny. But yeah, Domino just... Yeah, no. Alright, Dracula. Discard a card from your hand at the end of the game. This gets that power. I'm sorry. It's the Lord of Vampires. What the fuck are you doing? Discarding a card and he gets its power. No! He's the goddamn Lord of Vampires. He should be... He needs something better. Where he, like, drains 1 power from every opposing card at this location each turn. Or something like that. I'm sorry, but discarding a card to gain its power, that's... It's got nothing to do with the Lord of Vampires. Sorry, but no. Alright, Drax. If your opponent played a card here, he gets extra power. That's not Drax. Yeah, summon vampires to other locations. Fuck oath. Like, yeah, he should be doing that. Like I said, he's the Lord of Vampires. Should be summoning up a vampire army. There's so much more they could do with a character like Dracula. Especially considering he's not just limited to Marvel. But yeah, Drax gets extra power when you play a card there. Nah, I'm sorry. That's just, it's not Drax. Drax gets stronger with a challenge. No, but he doesn't. He doesn't, Machete. He doesn't. I honestly don't know what they could do with Drax. Look, I'm actually going to put him in with not much to work with. Yeah. He's kind of like... Yeah, kind of like Cull Obsidian in that regard. Like, he's just a big brawler dude that's good with knives. Like, yeah, he's kind of just a tough dude. That's really all there is to it.